So the age-old question, combat or gathering, right? Which one is gonna make you some big fat stacks early on? All right, so there's no question to it. This is for early new players. This is not quite fresh off the boat. This is more of, I've gotten to a major city, I have tier 4 gear, which is easy to get to. Get you the tier 4 gear, come watch this video and let me tell you which one you should be doing to make some moolah. So what I did, just to run it down, 30 minutes from the same, like the same exact starting point, 30 minutes of either combat gathering or combat grinding for money, or gathering fiber for money, because fiber is fiber for me is like my tier 3 to tier 4 gathering skill, and it's hard to level up gathering. So tier 3 gathering is about like just above the tutorial, right? It doesn't take long to get to, so I'm there. And then for the combat, I'm using all tier 4 gear. Also needs to be known, I'm not using any food or potions in this. If you don't know what that means, that's good, don't even worry about it. But food and potions will, it's basically like steroids. It's going to increase, or it's going to help you grind and gather a lot quicker on combat and in gathering as well. Okay, so just know that none of that will be part of this. This is just pure, uncut, unadulterated, which one's better. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so I want to talk about the build for combat in this this comparison here. First things first, I need to show you that my axe skills, level 5, not very high at all. This is something that anyone can easily achieve, and my great axe specialist is 1. So there's no huge extra benefit for me playing the game any longer. The only benefit you'll see is that I use I do have a higher skills in some of the armor that I use, but armor is going to help with more of the defensive side. It's not going to really help a ton on the offensive. It might increase my ability to clear a little bit more, maybe more of my survivability, but I don't really think it's going to skew it to a portion of like where I'm clearing something a lot faster than you would. It's going to be pretty similar because it's going to be mostly based off of my axe skill, which again is pretty low. All right, now looking into the build-a-rooney right here. All right, first and foremost, Adept's Great Axe. So I never, excuse me, I never use axes, right? I think axes are fine. I just use swords most of the time. So my dumbass self did not use the rending swing in any of this. I used the single target rending strike. So the rending swing is an AoE, so it's going to hit everything around you, and it's going to do a lot more damage quicker to multiple targets. I had rending strike, so technically I was doing more damage to bosses, like one-on-one stuff, but I recommend going rending strike, by the way. I don't think it really mattered, to be honest with you, but go with this. There's deadly chop, and then there's adrenaline boost for the W. I went with adrenaline boost because it gives you a quicker move speed and a damage buff for 5 seconds, whereas the deadly chop does a ton of damage, but there is a 0.5 second cast time. So I was like, I don't want the cast time, I want instant stuff. So I went with the adrenaline boost. And then the whirlwind is the last thing that you have to take, and it's really good. It's a huge AoE, does a ton of damage, and increases your movement speed by 20 seconds. So you get to go even faster, you get to do a ton of damage. It's a really good thing to have. That's why great axes are great for PvE. And then deep cuts has additional 47 per second when it comes to the bleeds. All right, now into the armor real quick. We went with the expert bag, and we went with the adept's cape because these are things that you're gonna have. The tier 5 bag, a tier 4 bag, it is not gonna matter. It's not gonna affect your clear speed whatsoever. As for the jacket, I went with the hunter jacket because of the haste ability. Gives you increased attack speed and damage for 8 seconds. It also gives you the swiftness buff, or you can even take the damage buff as well. The reason I went with the attack speed is because I thought it would be better. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure which one's better, but the numbers are pretty minute, I believe. So just, I don't know, just take one. Oh, the helm. So I went with the scholar cowl for a couple of reasons. One, they do have an increased damage by 3.5%, but obviously with the increased damage means you're not gonna have the increased oh, what's the word, the defense is a little bit lower on your cloth cowls. But what's really important is the energy shield. The reason I wanted the energy shield is because axes do tend to have a little bit more energy problems, because you can use their abilities pretty frequently, pretty quickly, so you do end up losing a lot of energy very quickly. So the energy shield, as you can see here, will both increase your resistances and your defense, as well as increasing or regaining energy as you take damage. So I thought that was a pretty good grab. Oh, feel free to use this build for yourself, guys, if you want to. I do plan on doing a some PvE solo clearing builds for new players relatively soon, but in the meantime, y'all can use this one. I went with the soldier boots because of this ability right here, Wanderlust. Every second, your movement speed increases by 10%, up to 8 times. So 10% up to 80% in 8 seconds. And this lasts for 16 seconds. So you get a 16-second speed boost. Up to 80%, and for 8 seconds you get 80%, or maybe 9 seconds technically. Either way, it's a really good movement speed increase, so I went with that. And then the toughness is just reduced damage. The other one is courier, which increases carrying load. No one cares. And then finally, I went with a tier 4 riding horse. This isn't super important in clearing the dungeons, but I did 30 minutes of me starting from a place in a town or next to a town, and that 30 minutes is considered it's consisting of the travel to the dungeons. So I figured, you know, a tier 4 horse would be about right for someone that's a new, you know, a little bit above a tutorial new player, more of like, you know, I understand the game a little bit more new player. A tier 3 horse would be just a little bit less speed, but would still do pretty well if you had to do a tier 3 horse. I wouldn't do an ox and I wouldn't do a donkey. Get you a horse. And that, yeah, dude, that's it for the combat portion. Let's get into the gathering portion. Man, I need to really practice this more. Gathering. All right, guys, that's the gathering build. So for low level new players, there really isn't any gathering equipment you can wear. We can wear all the stuff we're going to use anyway, like all this adept stuff, for like the combat. And then the only difference is the transport ox, right? Because the transport ox allows you to carry more of your loot. And trust me, you will need an ox, because you will end up carrying, like, at the end of 30 minutes, I had 200% weight load. I was super over encumbered. And at that point, a horse won't even be able to keep up. I think maybe higher tier horses could, but I assume that if you're watching this, you don't have a higher tier horse. So pick up the Adepts Ox, or even the tier 3 Ox will work just fine. It might be a little bit slower though. And you also have to have a sickle. I can only do tier 3. So I have a tier 3 journeyman sickle that took along with me. And that is it when it comes to the builds, guys. Like I said, no food, no potion, just straight cut. Nothing, no tricks. All right, guys, so let's get into some more footage. All right, so I just want to talk about kind of what we did here. So I started in the same exact place, right by Thetford, right outside the door of Thetford, going into a yellow zone. And then from there, on the left here, you see the gathering. On the right, you see the combat. On the left here, I was only gathering flax and hemp. Hemp is, I believe, tier 4. Flax is tier 3. Either one is reversed. I think I got those backwards, but either way, so I made it completely just like boom, here we go. If people got in the way, they got in the way. If enemies were stopping me, they were stopping me. If I had to go take a big dump, I didn't have to, luckily, but at 30-minute timer, that's what matters. That's what you're seeing here. And then I'll go over the money in the end. Looking over at the combat side, I did the same exact thing. I started in Thetford, same exact spot, same exact yellow zone, and I went and decided to just go to the nearest, and start going to the nearest solo dungeons. Obviously, some of them will be cleared out by other people, and obviously some of them won't. But that's the whole point, is a typical, you know, no perfect scenario, nothing. All right. Now, so then what that means is your mileage may vary. So that means there's a whole bunch of factors like food and other people getting in your way and just having a bad day on Albion Online that can affect the numbers that you will see. But neither here nor there. I think this was a really pretty good representation of what kind of money you can expect, or at least comparing the two to each other, of understanding which one is better to do here. And you know, and sometimes, like in the combat, sometimes you will die. In the gathering, you don't really have you don't have to worry about death at all. But neither here nor there. I think it's kind of up to you whether which ones you enjoy, but the numbers do not lie, and we will get to that right after we finish off these videos here. It is important to know in the combat side that dying is a part of it. So when you die, you do take a lot more armor damage or weapon damage, and that you have to get that repaired. And I put that into consideration, and we'll go over the numbers here soon once these are done. The results are in. Well, the green screen kind of messed that up for us here. So looking at gathering first. All right, gathering, I was able to get in 30 minutes, mind you, in 30 minutes I was able to get 159 hemp, which is the tier 4 fiber. I was trying to discuss that in the previous clip, and it was abysmal. But it's the tier 4 hemp. I got 159 of it at 17,273 silver. I got 523 flax at 8,000 silver, coming to a grand total of 25,273 silver in 30 minutes for a new player. Not bad, right? I mean, it is viable, so it's a little bit less than 1,000 silver a minute, so it's kind of up to you how great that is. Now, comparing it to the combat side. Oh, another thing to note about the gathering side, I didn't have to worry about repairing my equipment. There wasn't very much fighting going on, a couple of fights here and there, but it was negligible, maybe a couple of hundred silver to repair my equipment when it was all said and done. Now, looking at the combat side, what we all came here to look at here, you know, that's almost what I'm all about. Combat beforehand. Oh, never mind. Combat, just based off of mob drops, strictly silver mob drops, 21,234 silver. With the items that we got, with all the loot, 86,234 silver total without repairs. With repairs, cost about 14,000. With repairs, a grand total of 72,234 smackaroons, baby. So yeah, I would say combat might be your best bet. Now, of course, I need to say that it's so many factors, so many variables can appear that could actually make combat a lot less worse. But I mean, that's 72,000 in a yellow zone tier 4 equipment. Sure, I might have a little bit more experience, so I might know what I'm doing a little bit more, so that might make it a little bit quicker. But I'm also in a guild that was taking 20% of all the mob drops I was getting, so this number actually should be a little bit higher. But you know, I figured just don't even factor that in, because it smoked the gathering side. So if you are looking for the most optimal way to make money, do combat. Look into it, get good at it. If you don't care about money making, you just want to play the game, which I recommend just playing it how you want, gathering is completely fine. You know, honestly, late game gathering might be the better way of getting money. I have no idea. I'm just letting the new players know that if you want to get money fast, stick to the combat side. All right. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. I can do even gathering and crafting. I can compare the gathering together. Hell, I can even compare some of the different combat styles together. See which one makes them more money. See which one makes money quicker. All right, guys. If you liked the video, please do so and like it. Man, words. Am I right? Comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. And I do stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and either Saturday and Sunday. I'm trying to figure out a schedule here. But a lot of Albion Online, a little bit of variety, but Albion Online, a lot of fame farming right now, trying to get swords up to a very high level. And your boy is learning is starting to gank a lot more. Oh, you better watch your sweet asses. Anyways, guys, I'm out here. Y'all have a good one.